Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. If you were with us for our last session, you know we locked down a basic idea. Economics is essentially the study of how people make choices when we just don't have enough stuff to go around. Today, we're going to dive deep into the big three, the three interconnected concepts that literally form the foundation of all economics. We're talking scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll hit the central economic problem, look at scarcity as the ultimate limit, talk about why choice is an absolute necessity, figure out the hidden reality of opportunity cost, and finally, link it all together in the chain of economics.
All right, let's jump right into it. Section 1, the central economic problem. Now, to really wrap our heads around this problem, I want you to imagine a perfect utopian world. Let's say you woke up tomorrow with unlimited money, unlimited time, and unlimited resources at your complete disposal. Would you ever actually need to make a choice? Probably not, right? You could literally just have everything all at once. Without any limits, the whole concept of making choices wouldn't even need to exist. But, well, it's time to burst that utopian bubble. The reality we actually live in is basically a constant tug of war. On one side, we have our limited resources, and on the other, our totally unlimited human wants. Think about it. We continually want better homes, better education, top-tier healthcare, and the newest entertainment. Yet the actual resources, the physical things we need to build all of that, they're strictly capped.
And that stark contrast brings us to Section 2, scarcity, the ultimate limit. Let's face the facts here. Let's define what this actually means. Scarcity is simply the situation where available resources are insufficient to satisfy all human wants. A really common misconception is that scarce means rare or super hard to find. It doesn't. It just means that demand outpaces supply. Land, money, and even human labor are all, technically speaking, scarce.
And honestly, the most undeniable proof of this is time. Every single person on Earth gets exactly 24 hours in a day. It is the ultimate scarce resource. I mean, even the absolute wealthiest billionaires on the planet cannot buy themselves a 25th hour. Time is strictly limited, while the things we want to do with it, well, those are endless.
Which naturally leads us to Section 3, the necessity of choice. Because our resources are scarce and our wants are infinite, a conflict is automatically created, and that brings us to choice. Choice is deciding which option is most important when resources just aren't enough for everything. Making a decision isn't optional, it's a mandatory process that's forced upon us by reality. Let's ground this conflict in a super relatable, everyday example. Imagine you have exactly 1,000 rupees in your pocket. Now, you really want to buy a new pair of shoes, you want to grab that new book you've been eyeing, and you also want to hit up a restaurant with your friends. But that 1,000 rupees, it's not enough to do all three. You have to evaluate your desires and decide which single option is the absolute most important to you right now. And it's really crucial to realize that this exact conflict goes way beyond our personal wallets. Choice exists at literally every single level of society. Individuals, families planning out their monthly budgets, massive corporations, and even governments. The underlying rule of scarcity applies to every single one of them equally. Take a business, for example. A company might have just enough profit to either hire more workers to bump up production, or they could buy new machines to automate their current workflow. Because their capital is scarce, they literally cannot afford to do both immediately. So, the business is forced to make a strategic choice about which path is going to benefit them the most. This brings us to what I'd call the analytical climax of our explainer. Section 4, understanding opportunity cost. It's time to uncover the invisible price tag on everything. Opportunity cost is arguably the most powerful concept in all of economics. It's defined as the value of the next best alternative that you sacrifice when making a decision. Put simply, every single time you make a choice, you're simultaneously giving something else up. There is absolutely no such thing as a free decision. Let's walk through another practical example to really lock this in. Suppose you have 500 rupees. You narrow your desires down and figure out you can either buy a new video game or buy a pair of shoes. Let's say you finally decide, okay, I'm going to buy the video game. So, what's the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost is that exact pair of shoes that you left behind in the store. It is the literal value of what you gave up to make your decision a reality. Here's another incredibly relatable trade-off, but this time dealing with time instead of money. Imagine you have a huge, super important exam tomorrow morning. Tonight, you basically have two choices. You can either study for 3 hours, or you can kick back and watch a movie. If you choose to sit down and watch that movie, the opportunity cost isn't just the price of the movie ticket or your streaming subscription. No, the true opportunity cost is those 3 hours of crucial study time that you sacrificed.
So the real takeaway here is this major mindset shift. Most people just walk through life asking, what will I gain from this? But economists believe that by forcing ourselves to ask, what am I giving up? We actually train ourselves to make far smarter, highly efficient decisions. Truly understanding opportunity cost forces us to critically evaluate all our alternatives.
Now, let's scale the stakes up drastically. Let's look at the macro level. Imagine a government sitting down to plan its public budget, and they have exactly 10,000 crore rupees available. This massive budget is their absolute ultimate constraint for the entire year. The government has to decide whether to use this public money to build a huge network of new highways or to construct brand new hospitals. And here is the hidden reality. A government cannot spend the exact same money twice. If they choose to fund the highways, the true cost isn't just concrete and labor. The real opportunity cost is literally the unbuilt hospitals. Every single piece of public policy involves these exact same massive opportunity costs.
All right, let's bring it all home. Section 5, the chain of economics. Let's connect these concepts. Let's tie all of this together and see how it builds an unbroken, logical chain. Step 1, scarcity exists because resources are limited. Step 2, that scarcity forces people to make a choice. And step 3, every single choice inherently creates an opportunity cost. Honestly, economics is basically just the study of how people navigate this exact chain.
I really want to remind you that economics isn't just some abstract textbook theory. Your daily life is completely filled with this framework. Whenever you decide what groceries to buy, what major to study, where to work, or how to invest your savings, you are dealing with scarcity, making choices, and weighing opportunity costs. Without even realizing it, you are already an economist. These concepts might seem simple, but they are incredibly powerful because they explain human behavior, business strategies, and even government priorities. Now that we understand the limits of our resources, in our next explainer, we're going to dive into the factors of production. We'll study exactly how economies take these scarce resources and use them to actually produce the goods and services we rely on every single day. But before we go, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. What is the opportunity cost of the very next decision you're going to make today? Seriously, whether it's what you choose to eat for dinner or how you spend your next hour, remember that you are constantly making trade-offs. Try applying this economic thinking to your own life today, and just watch how it transforms the way you make decisions. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.